Hi, this is Jill from Humu Yoga, and this is the full practice. Today we're working with the theme of renew, and it's appropriate for the celebration of the new year. So we're going to go ahead and find ourselves in a nice centering, and then I will read the inspirational quotes on renew, and then we'll slowly get started and up to standing, where we will start with sun salutations, and I'll take you through a really renewing practice today. And before we get started, I always have a couple of yoga blocks and a little towel on the side, just in case. So that's up to you, but they come in handy. So if you don't have a towel, a yoga belt or strap would work as well. So let's go ahead and get started. Just take a moment to notice how you're sitting. So you can use your hands by your sides and close the eyes, and then just notice the muscles that you're sitting on. Can you engage them in pelvic floor? In yoga, we call that mula bandha, or root lock. So just see if you can engage there. And then above that, below the belly button, draw the belly in and up. And we call that Uddiyana bandha. So that's the flying upward lock. So as you go up the spine, on the top of the spine, gently draw the chin down. And we call that Jalandhara bandha, or chin lock. And with the bandhas engaged, we're sealing in the energies, and we have internal strength and support. So now you can just release the hands and sit up and begin to focus on the breath. So as you inhale, feel the rib cage expand. And then as you exhale, you feel the rib cage relax. Just notice, do you have any restrictions in your breath today? As you inhale, can you breathe fully? And exhale and just release the breath. We'll do one more conscious breath like that, inhaling and then exhaling. And now we'll draw the hands together at heart center, and we'll vibrate together with the mantra Om. Inhale. We must always change, renew, rejuvenate ourselves. Otherwise, we harden. Rest when you're weary. Refresh and renew yourself, your body, your mind, your spirit. Then get back to work. With the new year comes a refueled motivation to improve on the last one. Every day is a fresh start. Wake up with a thankful heart. Relax, refresh, renew. In this new year, we can really use that theme of renew to release all the stuff we no longer need and embrace the present and what's before us. And then we can find ourselves open to what is to come. So let's have a really nice opening practice as we come over to the knees. So on the hands and knees, we're going to use this little cat-cow warm-up. Inhale to really open up the spine, and exhale, round. And then we'll do it again and move. Inhale, lengthening, and exhale, rounding. Just one more. Inhale, lengthening, and then exhale, rounding. Let's go ahead and take this into downward facing dog and just focus on your breath for a moment. Inhale and exhale. And you can bend your knees if you need to get more length in your spine. Inhale and exhale. Really focusing on the breath today. Inhale and exhale. And then we'll very slowly walk up to the hands. So you could come up on your toes. You could have your feet wide, press down, and really make your way lightly up to the front. And once you're there, just go ahead and hang. You could even grab your elbows. If your knees were bent, that would be okay. We're just warming up for a moment. Let the head just hang. And now we're going to slowly roll up the spine, and you try to do this one vertebra at a time. So you're curling, but you're supported. You're pulling your belly in and up. really rounding to come up. And once you're all the way up, you let the shoulders go down and wide, and then let the head arrive. And just pause for a moment. And then we'll step into Samasthiti, standing still and straight. Just take a moment to notice how you're standing. Try to have your pubic bone and belly button aligned, so you're not sticking your butt out and you're not tucking under. Just a nice length, and feel the strength through the legs rising upward. And then we'll start with Surya Namaskar A, Sun Salutation A. Take a big breath in and reach up. And we're gazing down the nose and up to the hands. And then exhale, fold. As you fold, feel how the belly lifts. Inhale, lengthen. Let's go ahead and take this back to a plank. Now just hold that plank. And now we're gonna lower down into a push-up. So if you need to come down to the knees in order to hold your body line, do that. And lower. We're gonna push up into a push-up and just feel that strength in the upper body. And then come through to upward facing dog. Tail under. You could leave your knees down, or maybe they're lifty. The tail is under. I'm gazing down my nose and up. And then I'm going to take it to downward facing dog. And breathe. Inhale. And exhale. Each inhalation is new opportunities, right? You're bringing it in as you inhale and letting it release as you exhale. Couple more. Inhale. And exhale. One more big breath in. With each exhalation, feeling a sense of calm. And then let's walk up to the hands again, lightly, just lightly, and fold. Inhale, lengthen with each breath, opening a little bit more, gazing up to the hands. Exhale, hands down. One more. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold, feeling the lift of your belly, the support for your spine as you inhale, lengthen, and we're taking it back again. Hold the plank. You could stay here and lower, or you could come down to the knees, gazing down the nose and a little forward on the floor. Rise up, and then coming through, inhale, lift the sternum, gazing down the nose, shoulders down and wide, and downward facing dog. Exhale. And just breathe here. Inhale and exhale. Noticing the length of your breath. Can you make your inhalations equal in length with your exhalations? Inhale and exhale. Inhale here. We'll make our way up again and fold. Inhale, lengthen, and rise, really reaching. And exhale, hands down. And now we'll do Surya Namaskar B. So we'll bend the knees. I'm going to use the blocks here for the first one, just to get some height and lift. And reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. And you'll feel that if you lightly hop back. So keep your gaze down and lift up and go back. And now we lower. Inhale here, coming through. Feel a widening across the sternum. The tail is under, the legs are reaching. And exhale, downward facing dog. Now we're going to step the right foot forward for a lunge. So stay low here for a moment. Draw the tail under on that left side. And we're going to take a little turn, a little opening. So reach up. Try not to turn the hips too much. Just reach up. And then exhale, hand down. Now we're going to start to rise. So you can start to bend your back knee a little bit. Take the tail under. Keep your gaze forward and down your nose. Now we'll add the arms. Inhale, reach the arms. Now see if you can straighten your back leg, but keep the tail under as you lift up to go back. Up to go back. Nice opening here. Breathing. Inhale. Exhale. And now inhale, rising up. Reach forward, feel that right butt pull back, and then take your hands down. And then we'll lower. Elbows are drawing down, back and down, and rise up. And then come forward, lifting the sternum, and exhale, downward facing dog. Now we'll go to the other side, step the left foot forward, and then from here we're going to take a nice twist. So just turning the ribs. It's like I'm turning the right ribs to the left, gazing down the nose into the hand. Try not to turn the hips too much. Keep that right butt under, and then lots to think about. Start to rise up. So feel this right butt coming under, the sternum lifts. Now start to straighten your back leg, keeping that right butt under as you lift up. So you lift up to go back. Keep lifting up to go back, strong pose. And then inhale, rising up, reach forward, keep pulling the left butt back as you do that. And then take the hands down. And now we'll lower and rise and come through. Lift the sternum, tail stays under, and we'll take it back, downward facing dog. And breathe here. Inhale and exhale. Nice long breaths. Inhale and exhale. Couple more. And feeling how you're finding more length, more openings. And now find a gaze point a little ahead where you're going to lift up. You can walk up or you could lightly hop and fold. Bend the knees, reach the arms, and come to stand. Let's do one more. Bend the knees. This time I'm not going to use the blocks because I just want to see if I can find that same feeling without them. And fold. Inhale, look up and lengthen. And let's go ahead and take it back and lower. Inhale, rise, and then come through. Lift the sternum, the tail stays under, and take it back, downward facing dog. And then from here, we're just going to step forward to warrior one. So step the right foot forward, the back foot comes down and turns out, and we reach the arms. Keep the tail under on that left side. Lift the sternum, lift. Gazing to the hands. Inhale here. Reaching, keep pulling your right butt back and take your hands down. And we'll lower. Keep the belly in. Rise and come forward. Lift through the sternum and take it back. And left side. So stepping the left foot forward, you can take your right foot down, turning out. Keep that tail under on the right side as you lift the sternum up, gazing to the hands, up and back. Breathing. Inhale here, reach forward, take the hands down, step back, and we'll lower. Inhale, rise. And coming forward, keep that tail under as you lift the sternum upwards and take it back, downward facing dog. And breathe. Inhale and exhale. Keep breathing. One more big inhale. Find that gaze point, push down with the hands, lift up with the feet, and fold. Bend the knees, inhale, and come to stand. Let's take this into a little bit of a twist. So we're going to bend the knees, come around with your right arm, press the hands together, inhale here, and exhale, turn. So you're turning from the ribs. Inhale, turn the right ribs to the left, exhale. And then we'll go to the other side. Inhale, taking that left shoulder across. You can take your gaze down at first and then exhale, start to change the gaze. Turn. Exhale. Inhale, come to the center, and we'll come to stand. And let's take the feet hip width now. And we'll come into the forward bend. So notice, again, can you have a neutral pelvis? So pubic bone, belly button, same plane. So you're not sticking your butt out, not tucking under. And we're gonna hinge right at the hip sockets. You feel that fold as you come forward into the forward bend. Just feel that happening. And then from there, inhale, look up and lengthen. Maybe grab the back of your legs here. Focusing on that hip crease, start to come down. Exhale. Start to really notice, are your legs straight? Right? You really straighten your legs. And if your hips go back a little bit, that's okay. I'm more concerned about the legs being straight. I want you to really try to engage the front of the legs so we really fully stretch the hamstrings. And breathe here. And then inhale, lengthen. Hands on the waist and rise up. And we'll come to Samasthiti. And now I'm just going to set up the blocks and we'll do some standing poses. So I always have one in the front and one in the back. And we'll go ahead and step out. Let's come into Warrior Two. So I'm turning the back foot in and the front foot out, and then I'm just bending straight down, trying not to lean forward. Then I just take my gaze over my right fingertips. I'm feeling external rotation here, a lot of lift and a lot of reach, and breathe. Inhale and exhale. Now we're going to come into Parsvottanasana, Utthita Parsvottanasana, extended side angle. We'll circle. You could stay up here, or you could take your hand down and breathe. Inhale. Now I'm focusing on turning my right ribs to the left and really reaching this left arm, breathing. And my gaze is to my left arm or hand, whatever feels better in your body. And then inhale here. We're going to rise up and come into Trikonasana. So inhale, it's a nice wide Trikonasana. Take your hand down. You might need to adjust. You want your hand under your armpit if you can. Pull the right butt back and start to turn, reaching up. Now let's take it into a little bit of a back bend, explore, do something new. And then we'll reach the arm, really getting side body here. Reach. And now we can reach both. Feel the obliques and rise up. Now we'll go to the other side. So turning the right foot in, the left foot out, and just melt into Warrior Two. Gazing over the left fingertips. I feel the internal rotation, the external rotation in the front leg, and I'm breathing. And now we're going to come into Utthita Parsvottanasana. So you could take your forearm and reach. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you take your hand down. And I'm turning the left ribs to the right, gazing as best I can to my right hand, or maybe you're looking towards your elbow, breathing. And then we'll inhale, rise up, and we'll come into Utthita Trikonasana, triangle. So I need to move the block a little bit. So my hand is under my armpit, pulling the left butt back and turning the left ribs up to the ceiling. And now I'm going to exaggerate this a little bit and lean back a little bit. It feels good. Breathe, because we're renewing, trying things differently here, and then a little different. We'll reach this arm. You feel the side body, breathing, and then maybe we reach both arms and rise up. And now let's come into Paschimottanasana. So spread out, forward bend, right? So take your hands on your waist, inhale. A little different though today. Come forward. Let's reach the arms out like you're doing a down dog for a moment. And just let your chest come closer to the floor. And just really notice what's going on here today. Breathe, inhale. Let your chest come closer to the floor. Exhale. Straight legs. And then inhale, rise up. Put your hand down, and your right hand down in front of you, and just take a little twist. Turn to the left. And you can gaze up to the hand, pulling the belly in. And then we'll go the other way. So just changing hands, reach up with the right hand, gently gaze up to the hands. Try not to turn the hips. Make this more about the ribs. And then come down. And then from here, look up and lengthen and just start to walk your hands in. We'll take a nice forward bend. And if you needed to, you could put your head on a block and breathe. Try to really straighten your legs, roll your shoulders away from your ears. Breathe. And then inhale, lengthen, and rise. And from here, we're gonna come into a goddess pose. So just turn out and start to come down. And try to come straight down. See how that feels. And breathe, gazing to the fingertips. Inhale. Exhale, find some depth here. Inhale. Exhale. And then inhale, we'll rise up. And we're gonna turn to the right again. So from here, let's just take the hands on the waist for a moment. Inhale, lengthen through your spine. Lift the sternum. And then let's add the arms. So inhale here, we'll reach the arms. And we'll come into a variation of Parsvottanasana. So we're gonna come forward, reaching your arms, but pull your right butt back. And now you could use a block here if you needed to. Take your hands to the floor, if you can, or to the block, whatever level, right? Keep pulling your right butt back. Breathe, melt the heart downwards, and just feel that opening. A couple more breaths. Try to keep your front leg straight. And then inhale, lengthen. And then I'm gonna move the block to the outside of the right ankle, and we'll put the left hand on it, right? And start to turn. You could have your hand on your on your shin if you needed to, and start to turn. Breathing, keep pulling your right butt back. And then inhale, rise up. And we'll go to the other side. So turning. And let's start with the hands on the waist for a moment. Lift the sternum. Notice are both hips facing the same way. We'll reach the arms up and start to come forward. Keep pulling that left butt back as you do this. Keep reaching. You could take your block down, whatever level, trying to keep your front leg straight. Right? Some of you could be on the floor. So just do what feels good in your body. Keep pulling that left butt back. Keep melting the heart down. And then inhale, lengthen. Let's go ahead and take the block to the outside of the front foot and put your hand on it, or your right hand on it. Try not to turn the hips. Turn your right ribs to the left. Pavrita Trikonasana. Turning, gazing up to the hand if that's doable. Breathing. And then inhale, and we'll rise all the way up. Samasatihi. I'm gonna clean the house a little bit and move the blocks up to the front. And let's do a really nice tree pose, because it's a perfect pose for renewing. It's like finding as much growth as you can in this tree. So we'll start by standing on the left leg and letting the right leg come up. And you could be close to the wall for this, so you could have some assistance. Let your right leg come up, and you could really use that if you needed to, because we're going to take this into Urdhva Hasta Padangustasana out to the side. So finding your tree pose, reaching up, and if everything's going well, let's go ahead and grab the toe, and you can take this left arm out to the side as you do this and lift up, 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 release, and come back. You could always use the bars, or the wall, I'm just saying. Okay, so let's do the other side. Let the left leg come up. And just find your balance for a moment. So keep that gaze right down the nose and breathe. And maybe add the arms, reaching up, gaze down the nose, but lifting up. And then from here, we're gonna let the right arm go out to the side. See if you can grab your toes. You can always touch the wall, right? And lift up, lift up, lift up. Maybe you can change your gaze and then release and do the best you can. But enjoy it, enjoy the process. We're gonna come down to the floor now. So inhale, reach the arms up, and exhale, fold. To come down to the floor, you could use your blocks. We'll step back to a down dog and just pause for a moment. I like to do this because it's helping me build some inner strength. So you could walk up, step up. You could use your blocks to lift off. Oh, something I'm working on. Just make your way down to the floor. And let's find Dhanurasana. So sit up as tall as you can, and you want to find that hip crease again. So if you're noticing that you're curling back like this, you might want to bend your knees a little, or sit up on a block or a blanket. And then from there, from Dhanurasana, which is staff pose, we're going to come into Paschimottanasana. So you could grab maybe the big toe, right, with the first 2 fingers and wrap around. Make sure your shoulders are pulling away from your ears. You're hinging at the hips and come forward. And relax the shoulders and breathe. Inhale and exhale. Keep breathing and exhale. It's like you're just surrendering into the pose as best you can. Even if you're up here and even if your hands might be here. Another thing you can do is use your towel, right? To keep that back nice and lengthened. They're all good options. And then from here, sitting up, inhale. Let's let the right leg come up and pull that knee back. So this is nice hip flexion. You're pulling the knee back by the armpit. Just feel that. And then we're gonna bring it across. So this is like you're cradling your baby. Bring it across and you try to sit way up. We're opening the hips a little bit here. And you can even rock it like a baby, rock back and forth, being nice to those outer hips. And then let's go ahead and take the foot down. We're gonna come into Vrksasana, but first let's take a gentle twist to the left. So sit up for a moment and just turn, and we're turning the right ribs to the left. I'm gazing down the nose, and then eventually I take my gaze over to the left. And then inhale, coming back. Now we're gonna come over that left leg. So take a breath in and exhale and come over the leg. And now if there's many variations, you could use your towel. You could just have your hands on the floor. Or if it's accessible, you could maybe grab your right wrist with your left hand and take your body down. And breathe. Inhale. Exhale. And then inhale, lengthen, rising up. Now we're going to take a twist the other way. So just a gentle twist to the right. You could take your left hand to the outside of the right knee and sit up and turn. And gently taking the gaze down the nose and to the right. And then inhale, coming back to the center. Now we'll do the other side. So bending the left leg, feeling that flexion at the hip as you pull the knee back towards the armpit. Just notice what's going on there. And then we bring the leg across and sit up and rock your baby. Rock your baby. Maybe your baby's really crying. just see if you can find some release. Sitting up. And then we're going to gently put the foot down. So now we're going to twist to the right. So slowly lifting up, start to turn to the right, turning the left ribs to the right, gently making your way around. And then the last thing is the gaze down the nose and to the right. And then inhale here and come back. Now we'll come into the forward bend. Inhale. And whichever variation you did, whether you're using your towel, the floor, or maybe you can grab your left wrist with your right hand and come forward, really drawing the shoulders away from the ears. Breathing. Inhale, lengthen and rise. And now we're going to turn to the left. So inhale here, exhale, turning to the left, lifting up. Exhale, turning the right ribs to the left, gently gazing in the direction of your left shoulder. And then inhale, come back to the center, back to Dhanurasana. Now we're gonna move to the wall for a pretty intense but pretty awesome stretch. Some people call it couch stretch. It's really a prep for Ekapada Raja Kapotasana in yoga. So I'll meet you at the wall. So we made it over to the wall and it just came down to my knees. I recommend for this next one that you have something to cushion one of your knees with, whether it be a blanket, a pillow, or I'm gonna use this towel. So this couch stretch, as they call it, is pretty intense, but it's really good. So I I really encourage you to give it a go. So it's easier, it's hard to get into though. So I find it easier if you use blocks. If you don't have a wall, you could also use a couch or a sofa in theory, right? But we're gonna start by bending your left leg and putting it up the wall, right? If you start to feel crampy, you could always flex your foot, point your foot. And the blocks really help because then we want to take the front foot into a lunge position. That's the part that's hard to find. Try to come forward of your kneecap so you're not directly pushing down on it. And then this is where it becomes a little intense. We start to move back. And you don't have to, some people can, you don't have to push your butt all the way back to the wall. Just go to where you're feeling a really decent stretch. But it's very important that you try to posteriorly tilt your pelvis. So you really want to take the tail under so that you get a nice stretch. And then just go to the intensity that suits you. You could use the wall, right? And really try and feel that. So I'm really pushing my butt under and just find a nice stretch there. Inhale and exhale, and just go to where it feels good in your body. At the same time, you're pulling the right butt back. Breathe here, keep inhaling and exhaling. Maybe you could balance, and in which case you could bow down, and that helps to take the focus inward. Keep the tail under on that left side, breathing. And now we're gonna change the pose a little. So you could move your blocks forward if you were using them, and we'll come into a lunge. So in this lunge, you still want that same action in the back leg. You want that tail under. We're really trying to stretch the front body here, the front of the hip. As you bend the front knee forward, lift the sternum. Now, if this was enough, you could stay here, or we're gonna play around with really finding a sense of lift of the sternum, really draw the shoulders down and wide, and then eventually start to reach the arms and really lift. Lift up to go back, and just take it somewhere beautiful in your body. Breathe, inhale, exhale, and inhale and rise up. So you try and stay there at least 10 seconds, but maybe even longer if you can. And so we're gonna switch sides. So I'm gonna go ahead and place the towel under my knee, put the foot up the wall. And of course, you could flex and point a few times if you were getting cramps. And then step the right foot forward. From here, I'm really working on taking that right butt under as I press back towards the wall, right? And you want your foot outside of your hip as best you can. And just see where you can find that. If everything's going well and the tail is under, maybe you could bow in, gently gazing down to your hands. I'm adjusting that front foot a little, and I'm pulling the left butt back, tail is under. I'm doing a little prayer. It feels good though, it's intense, right here. And now we're gonna take it into the lunge. So you could use your hands, bend the front knee. It's okay if the knee goes forward of the ankle. Keep the tail under on that right side. You could stay here, or maybe you could lift up to go back, up to go back. And just keep playing with that. Where can you go? Keep breathing. Keep breathing. And stay as long as you want to. And rise up. And hopefully that felt really good. It's a wonderful opening for back bends. And I want to take us into Urdhva dhanurasana. So I feel like it's the perfect setup. So as you notice, I put my blocks against the wall. You could have them down like this, but I feel like this helps with the angle of the wrists for some people. So whatever feels better in your body, we're gonna make our way down to the floor for the ultimate renewal pose, Urdhva dhanurasana. It will definitely open you up. So we'll make our way down to the floor. You could bend your knees if you needed to and just curl back. Curl back. Feel how we're actually stretching the back as we do this. We're nice and open. Let's start off with a small bridge, a Setu Bandhasana. So just take a breath and just to notice how the glutes are working here. Lift up. Make sure your shoulders are rolling back and down and your neck is long. Lift up as high as you can. Breathing. Keep breathing. Keep engaging under the butt and hamstrings, and then slowly come down. So let's put this together. You're free to just do that same Setu Bandhasana, the small bridge pose, or if you want to give this a go, let's place the hands on the blocks. Make sure your elbows aren't out to the side. You want to have them as best you can pointing upward. If they go out a little, that's okay, but then we're going to try and get them to go in. So we want this back bend to be even, right? Most of us are either tight in our shoulders or in our low back. So let's do the best we can here. So take a breath in. We start to lift the pelvis. And then from there, we're going to come to the top of the head and then lift up. Try to go straight up. And notice if you're too far this way, maybe you can lift your heels and start to lift up to go closer to the wall. Maybe this is accessible and you can walk in and then work on more up, up. If everything's going well, you can push towards the wall to see what feels good in your body. Breathing, breathing, and slowly, slowly coming down. You can curl down. Really pull the belly in here. That really helps. And take the tail down. And if that went well and you want to do it again, sometimes it's nice to do it 3 times. I'm going to teach it one more time. We'll try it one more time together. But you're welcome to come back to your bridging if that was too much for you. So let's go ahead. Take a breath in. And exhale. Start to lift the pelvis. Come to the top of your head and lift up. And if it was better for you, you could lift the heels, maybe walk in. This time, if you wanted to add a variation, bend the right knee, reach, take it down, try the other side, reach, take it down, or just stay here and play around with this. Lifting, lifting. And then we'll slowly come down. And it's energizing. You can hear my breath. And then let's slowly just let the knees drop to the right. Take the feet nice and wide. I have a confession to make. And we'll go anyway. I hardly ever really want to do Urdhva dhanurasana or that couch stretch that we did before. But after I do them, if I don't push myself too hard, my body really eases into them. And I feel like a sense of renewal and opening, and it just feels amazing. But you have to do it to your level. And let the knees fall open. And then let's slowly, maybe you can pull the knees in and rock in happy baby, just releasing. Just noticing what's going on. And then slowly, let's put the feet down to the floor. I'm gonna move my body down because I wanna do a nice assisted inversion. So you can just, if you're using your block, you can lift up, put your pelvis on it, and just let your feet come up. Make sure you're not sticking your butt out, ribs are in, and you're not curled under. Just find that nice place. Of course, you're always invited to take your legs over to halasana, if that's in your practice, right? Make sure your neck is long. You're also always invited to come up to shoulder stand, if that was in your practice, keeping the neck long. But for some people, it's contraindicated due to things like osteoporosis. So if that's the case, we just always meet back here because this is a nice inversion. It feels good to reverse the blood flow in the legs. Just stay here for another couple breaths. Let's go ahead and take it down to Supta Baddha Konasana. Feeling alive, renewed, open, ready for the new year. And then we're gonna slowly, you could stay there longer, by all means, but I'm gonna take it into a twist now. So just lift the hips up and shift your hips to the left. And then we're gonna go ahead and let the knees come up, arms out to the side, and just take the knees over to the right. And then slowly turning the ribs. I'm turning my right ribs to the left. Gazing down the nose and over the left shoulder. And then inhale, letting the legs come up, shifting the hips to the right this time, letting the knees come up, knees over to the left. Really roll that right shoulder open and then change your gaze. Breathing. Inhaling, letting everything come in. And then just take this moment to just pull in and exhale. Release everything you don't need. And take in all of the good, all of the ease, all of the peace. And stay in Savasana as long as you'd like. Pause the video if you'd like. I'm going to go ahead and take us out. So just become aware of your breath. Starting to move fingers and toes. And as you're ready, stay in this release. As we bend the knees in, come to the side. Pause in a fetal position. And then make your way up to seated, taking your time. And finding that nice seat. Notice where you are in your body and mind after this vigorous but very present practice. And stay in that place of renew and let it guide you through the new year. Namaste.